Hi Koby, it's Maureen, otherwise known as Mo. I'm here to walk you through your jump shot tune-up. I want to start on the left. This is the best part of your shot, and I want to start on that positive note because we have to do a lot of restructuring, and I don't want you to get too down. I had to restructure my shot at the end of 8th grade, so you're ahead of me in terms of time. But you also want to streamline your work with video. So there's the left side. I want to show you sort of what the problems are, and this shows you on the right all the stuff we need to work on. So the first problem is, I'll just go through, this is a problem, this is a problem, elbows, okay, this guide hand problem, okay. We can work from the ground up, and one problem typically cures or reduces the other problem, and then less corrections take place. So see how your guide hand is really almost blocking your own shot? I bet you never knew that you did that. Okay, now you do, and now we can make the corrections. The other thing is you're really tight in your face, and that's sort of a baseball thing. I think baseball players really have to clench their teeth and twist a lot. I think that also explains why you have the twisting in your feet. So here's Riley chasing down your rebounds. Now there's a New York City travel right there. So see left, right. So you have an issue where you're not focusing on your base and getting it down. You're doing the New York City travel. If you tighten up your approach and you crush your base, I mean, if you make it so rock solid, you're going to be loading your rocket, and the rocket is your jump shot. So you should be loaded right there, and this needs to be really crazy straight with the base. I like to go even with kids with just a smidge forward. I did it my whole life staggered, and I wish I hadn't. This is where you need to be at the bottom. And again, your shooting elbow is pretty good, and you have an unevenness in your shoulders. You see how the ladder's kind of falling apart? So what you want is a very even line. That's actually too wide. You're tipping, and that's why it's sort of hard for me to grab this line and pull it through. Your knee should be on that line. Your knee should be on this line, and you should be across, 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 and your shoulders should be even. Okay, so how to get there? You do wall sits, you do single leg lunges to make sure there's no imbalance. Baseball players typically have a stronger leg based on all the times they go up and take hits. The great thing I see here on this angle is your elbow. So what's cool about this is I can measure. You're at 73. It's really not that bad. I think it's promising, but you want to get 10 degrees up, 12 degrees up to 90 degrees. So I worked out one kid who had a bad elbow issue. Now what happens, another baseball issue, is you've developed your underarm more. Like, so you've developed a lot of like this area for baseball and across your chest. The thing about the jump shot is that you really have to develop this, and then you have to develop the inside of your arm to pull perfectly straight, and then the elbow to stay perfectly straight. So it's different mechanics. See how you showed me a great elbow, but then you turn into a chicken wing, which is outside this whole line you need to stay on. Okay? So we'll get that. That's why we do level 1 shooting. Level 1 shooting is so boring, right? But it puts you right on that railroad track. Now, it's funny, you do have a lot of tension in that guide hand. You need to remove it entirely. And then when you're done, you can't hit yourself in the face. You do a good job of holding that frame. So that's another good thing about your shot. Let's look at a few more, and then we'll take some notes. You have the New York City travel. It's being caused by lack of preparation, plus you're young. So see how you raised the ball before your rocket was loaded? And this is true 90% of the cases. Your elbow is going to be out with a knee that's out. So one triggers the other. Usually it's the base and the elbow that work together like this. So you have to work on getting both of them like that. You can do this in the mirror. You can get your mechanics of your shoulder muscle and your bicep more straight instead of developing under your arm for baseball. Okay, we're going to move that guide hand. So I'm going to say the second big thing is to get the guide hand on the side. Okay, don't get it on the top of the ball. Okay, this is the other good part. I'm happy with this. You just feel a little looser, but I think that's from clenching when you shoot. I like this piece. I like that wrist action right there a lot. Okay, now let's go back to the mechanics. You do a good job of landing too. You're not perfectly straight, but you have this nice symmetry when you land. I think you just end up with a lot of unevenness and lack of symmetry while you're producing the shot. It's tougher for you, right? So you have these mistakes in between, but I think you totally get this hand is up and in the cookie jar. I think you know this is what you should look like, and then you put your head right smack dab in the middle, correct? Okay, so that's what you should look like from the front. And you're not too far from that, believe it or not. I know it seems like a lot of work, but we'll get there. Now from the side, you're standing up and you're doing the New York City travel. Okay, most boys do it. See how you're raising the ball before you're loaded? So this is the most common mistake. I call it launching your rocket before you're fully loaded on the launching pad. So your launching pad as a point guard has always got to be here. The ball should stay in that shot pocket until you get the symmetry of your feet, because you need to be able to drive and explode to the basket and pass. You should not be waiting on that foot. It should already be there, right? So you should be sitting back in that chair, and then the ball raises up at that point, okay? So you'll have a mechanical, really nice here, and that's where the ball is, and then it's gonna propel. And that's really, it kind of goes up like this first, and it goes up like this, and it goes up like this, right? So it's all the foundation that you want to get to this point at the end, which is a crane. So you're going to be like this at the end. Boom. So that chair, with your head being forward, your head's too far back. That's why you're sitting. So you need to put your head forward. You need to sit here, here, and you just snap up into that crane with all the motion. And why we did all those wall sits and stuff, it comes from the back side and you propel up. A lot of boys go down, up, and that's negative energy. Okay, that's negative positive. So let's take a look. You're pretty good. The problem you make is you break your L. So here is where your L needs to be. What you've done is you've made it a V and you've broken it. So level 1 is a critical drill for you. I know it's going to bore you to tears. Some yoga and push-ups and getting your elbow in is going to get you a much stronger shot to lead to what I think is the beauty of your shot, which is right about here. Okay? So let's look at it just one more and then get out your pad of paper. Or I don't even think you need it. Once you understand it, you just go at it. Okay, so see how your head is over your butt, is over your heels? Your head needs to be forward, monkey scratching the knees, which is just ridiculous that I'm a 40-plus-year-old woman walking around town saying monkey scratch your knees. But that's how it works. So your head needs to be more forward to create the leverage in the butt, okay? If your head stays back, your butt's not going to be able to go back. That's where you need to be, okay? More squats, one-legged squats. From there, you propel up. Now your point of release is at your chin. You need to get it up towards your eyebrow. That's why level 1 is a critical drill for you to do. Okay? So I'm going to take notes. Your approach, stop traveling please. Okay? It should be left, right, or a jump stop. You're a lighter frame. I would go with the jump stop in the chair. So you have to, AB is lock in that base and chair. So A, B, and C are sort of all together. And get that symmetry in the chair. The symmetry is here, 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 right? Get that symmetry. And the last piece of this part of the notes, this is sort of part 1 for you, load your rocket before you launch your rocket. And that includes your feet. So you load everything right here, going back here. Okay, so see your head is back, so load right there with your head forward, and then the party can begin, and that can be shooting, passing, or dribbling. So this A, B, C, get your symmetry, load your rocket, launch your rocket. You can do that in the mirror. You can do it just walking around. Left, right, jump stop, lock everything in, feel your symmetry. Then part 2 for you is getting a look at this side and what went wrong. Let's go back. Okay, so once you get that symmetry and you eliminate the knee knocking and you get that symmetry, that little ladder at the bottom, I want you to develop the dolphin pose in yoga to get that elbow in. And we have baseball players who can do this. We have others who struggle with it. But you have to create that 90 degrees and you have to develop the proper muscles without dipping your shoulder. You're breaking your L. You have to keep your shoulders even. Okay, so I'm going to say the next big piece for you is the elbow and even shoulders. Okay, the other thing is that guide hand is just freaking out, and it should just be on the side of the ball. Okay, it's funny, I always put notes and typically they go in the alphabetical order. Your frame is right in between here, so if I could write, E, F, I did A, B, C earlier, this is handy, but you're basically building your frame. Okay, so F is for frame, and your frame is off right now. I should see half of your face. Now the last piece I think you do fairly well is you do follow through. And the other thing you do pretty well just is, aside from that tiny little twist, is you have a nice stillness at the end. Okay, so that's very good. Now what you're trying to do is just work out the first level of kinks. You can do those at home. You do need a basketball, I think, for the second level of kinks, being the elbow and the evenness of your shoulders, but you can practice that in the mirror as well. You can practice your frame in the mirror, and you can practice being relaxed when you shoot. And we'll give you the yoga drills. You can also do body weight squats. You can do one-legged squats. And again, I just want to point out that I think you have a really nice touch. You have good stillness. You just have to correct all these mechanics and work out the kinks now so they don't become a bad habit that you can't get rid of. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you soon.